all, this is Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while thoroughly enjoying each other and the genre. All right, you've been asking for this for a long time now, and we're going to give it to you. We've got A Court of Wings and Ruin Part 1, and we're getting right into it. Here we go. Hi, Erin!
Hello. Oh, no. She said, you guys, that she might be at an 11 because it had been so long since she recorded that I did. You guys, we were having a normal, calm, rational conversation
but
of
then
like,
we added the listener to the mix.
have you tested your microphone? Yeah. Do you have banter? I don't know. I have something about my kids. Okay, let's record. 1, 2, 3, record. It was a lot, you guys.
Listen, listener, you excite me. Okay, down to my core. When, like, Erin is one thing, and don't tell them that we had a normal, boring. We were cackling before this. I had you in stitches.
Yes,
all right,
that is true, but it
So
ebbs and
not...
it flows, right? Like, and it went from a 1 to an 11 just now. Yeah. People ask me all the time, "Is Melody like that in real life?" And I do tell them, yes. Don't worry. And it's true.
It is. When I met your friends at the restaurant on your wedding weekend, I was a little terrified that I terrified them, but I think by the end of the weekend,
I was like, oh, this is what she's like in real life. I forgot.
Yeah.
You've gotta really like prepare yourself for like a physical Melody presence.
You do. Yeah. So, my kids have been kind of funny lately. Do you want to hear some stories?
That was the banter we dryly agreed to before we started recording. What's up?
Well, Ember has fully embraced his creep factor.
What does that mean? Is he creepy quarantine? Like a little creepy ghost child?
No.
Like, does he stand at the foot of your bed and talk about 1800s things?
No. Although he did make some past life comments a few months ago that I can't remember, but like it was a lot. However,
love that there's a combination of you believing your child has made past life comments and then being unable to remember what they are. That's the most Melody thing I think I've ever heard in my life. Oh my God. In the history of our friendship, you've never said something more you than that.
Oh. All right. Well, no, he's been... It's mostly been Ember just like randomly coming out with super creepy things. For example, one day, Michael was like, "Hey, Ember, what do you want for lunch? Like, you want some pork? You want some chili?" And he was like, "No, puppies." And Michael was like...
yeah. Did you tweet us or post about it or something?
I think Michael probably posted about it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
and then at Michael's blank stare, Ember goes, and when I bite them, they will say, "Woof, woof." Puppies.
Puppies. Just in
that
case
was
you
one
were
thing.
confused.
Yeah, the ones that go woof, woof. That's what I want. Another day, Michael got up with them early, and so when I came down the stairs at like 8:30 or 9 or 10, I don't know what time it was, he went back up the stairs to go to sleep, and Ember goes, "Have a nice nap," and then very quietly he goes, "Never wake up."
What? No, that's creepy. That's what creepy. I was talking about at the beginning, where your child is like one of those ghost children of the old times.
Yeah. Then another one is, he goes, "Daddy, you okay? Something bad is coming."
No.
Yeah, just randomly. And the final one that I'm gonna impart to you is, as Michael was leaving to like run some errands or whatever, Ember goes, "Drive safe. Try not to scream."
What? Oh no.
And he has the most like angelic smile on his face when he says all of these things. It is hilarious.
That's real creepy, Mel.
It's so creepy, I know.
Are you sure it's not like that orphan movie where he's like secretly a 35-year-old man trying to kill your family?
That wasn't a movie. That was a real thing that happened.
Yeah, believe me. That's all I think about and all I Google every day of the week. And there hasn't been any new news since November.
I know.
And it's really upsetting.
The Ukrainian orphan is like off the radar.
God, I can't.
I know.
We cannot bring my obsession with the Ukrainian orphan to the podcast. But no, there was a movie. That was that movie, Orphan.
Yeah, there was also a movie. Which
is why the Ukrainian orphan became such a sensation, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, it's a very sad story. I'm not trying to but I do Google it daily.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, we just want to know how she's doing, what's going on.
We just
how old
want to
are
check
you?
on,
question mark.
We just want to check on, how old are you, Ukrainian?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Valor, let's see. The cutest thing about Valor lately, well, there's two. One is that
she
a
opens
lot
her
of
mouth
times
real wide and like locusts fly out or something. Like what could possibly be the cutest thing about Valor?
Actually, now I have to tell you three. The first one is Michael yesterday looked at her and in Chinese he was like, "Xiao Mei, what's a yawn?" And she just goes, "Ah," and like opens her mouth
like
really
the
wide.
Child.
No, like a kid who's yawning, you crazy person.
That grudge child might think he's just yawning, but he looks real fucking creepy when he does it.
Fair enough. Then she also, the only way I can get her to eat sometimes is to play monster sounds with her. Like I'll hand her the fork with the bite on it and I'll be like, "Ow." And then that's the only way then she'll go, "Ow," and eat it.
You know how much I love making that sound. I would be good at that.
Same. Yeah. I think that's where it came from. I was just like, one day at dinner, I was like, "Michael, this is so good." Yep. And then finally, at bedtime, nope, I'm going to save that for my lady love. That's what I'm going to do.
Whoa, guys,
it's a big lady love. Stay tuned.
What a cliffhanger.
That's right. One of the cutest things Valor is doing right now is going to be a lady love, and don't you worry, it's going to be fucking inspiring. Okay.
All right.
Are you ready to ACOWAR?
You guys, surprise! It's ACOWAR! You probably noticed because you clicked on it earlier.
Yeah, and I made an intro at the beginning of this and stuff. But surprise! It's finally here. You did it. You bullied us. You 5-star reviewed us into submission, and we love you for it.
And let me tell you guys, I had some hot takes last book. My takes are hotter this book. So you asked for it.
I'm so excited.
Hot, piping hot, Justice for Tamlin style takes this book.
No!
This is where they get much more hotter. The Justice for Tamlin hot takes.
I know.
Feyre.
I know they do.
This shit is your fault. This is your fault.
Fuck
she
you.
needs to take responsibility for what she did.
We'll argue about it later. All right. But can I just say the first time I read this book, I actually finished this book in the tub while laboring the morning I had Valor.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah.
So that's where I was.
That's how long ago it was that we did the first two books.
That's correct. And
I felt that time and space when I was reading this third book, because the first time I read it, I felt like I understood what was going on a lot better than this time. So,
oh man, I know it. I'm in it. I'm immersed. I'm living it. I love it. It's all good with me.
Great. I can't wait for like me to be like, this plot hole, and then be like, oh god, didn't you even read the first one? All right.
Here we go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Part 1.
Part
Princess of Carrion. And already I'm like, the angst. Okay, we're back here. And like the first line is like,
in it.
The painting that I was painting was a lie. Like, oh, right. I forgot.
Yeah.
This is a high angst book.
Well, why don't we just, first of all, I'm sorry.
Are you going to recap the 1,400 pages of the first two? Is that what you're about to do?
Of course not. Listen, you know where they are. They're in our back catalog. Go eat them up. Scrump.
There's about 6 hours back there in the back catalog.
There is. You're just going to ACOTAR and ACOMAF. You're going to spend some time with Schmerger and the rest of the gang, okay? However, no, when we left off in the last book, I had been texting you frantically, being like, is HEA? ? Melody need HEA! And Erin was trolling me hard. Because they were...
it's not a romance, Melody. Oh,
Melody.
it's not a romance. 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 It wasn't sold as a romance. It's sold as like an adventure fantasy book.
Anyway,
series.
So they were in Hybern, and Tamlin had betrayed all of fairydom. Every sector of Perineum had been betrayed to create an alliance with Hybern. And
because he believed his true love was in danger, and that's a situation she created by lying. Okay,
she didn't lie.
She didn't lie to Lucian in the woods where she was like, I am under spell. I am robot spell. And then Lucian goes back to Tamlin's like, she's not, that note that she wrote you isn't real. She's under the spell of the Night King. And then he's like, oh shit, we've got to go get Hybern to...
Tamlin has some big old Gryffindor goggles on, and he can't even imagine her being interested in another D, okay? Melody. And that's,
I don't love him. I'm not into him. I don't want to fuck him. But what I'm saying is, if she had said to Lucian in that moment in the forest, listen, the Night King's not that bad. I'm mated to him. I'm with him now. I don't want to go back to Tamlin. What I wrote in my note to Tamlin is the truth. He needs to shut it down and stop.
Yeah.
If she had said that to Lucian that day, we would not be here.
No, I argue that they both would have been like, she's under his spell. That's why she said that to us.
Okay, but she didn't have to perpetuate that.
Sure. But I don't think they would have
that rumor.
Her. Yeah, totes. Anyway, so he had betrayed everyone, and Ianthe had betrayed her by telling Hybern about her human sisters. And so...
Or did she? Hot take.
So... The human sisters are heartbroken because they now have beauty everlasting and all the strength in the world, and they're going to live forever, and they're fairy now because they got cauldroned up. They got tossed right in the cauldron.
Let's do a pros and cons list on this one.
I know.
Jesus.
I know. Anyway, and so
cauldron.
Feyre, yeah, but the really important thing is that she made everyone believe that the King of Hybern broke her and Rhysand's mating bond. Did she? And then she King of the Day courted them right out of there, is what she did. And then now, and it ended with Rhysand telling all the gang, they're like bleeding and stuff, and he told them that she is his high lady, and now she is his spy. And that's where we are now. So she's Feyre, spy for the Night King. And so she's like really covertly swooshing and a knighting. You know. She is a depression, and she is I've been touched in ways I didn't want, I think. ? But I can't remember anything. That's where she is right now.
Hot.
She's painting, but it's like angst. They're off.
The colors are dulled.
Oh.
So after that recap that Melody did not do, here we are. Chapter 1. The painting that she's painting is a lie because the colors are bright and she is not. And she's there in the castle in the spring court with Tamlin, but she's not doing sex with him. Like, we need to know soon.
That's right.
We're not doing sex because she's with Rhysand.
That's right.
And she's telling Tamlin she's just not ready for the sex because of all the trauma that she's endured in the Night Court. And I mean, hot take, I kind of wish she had sex with Tamlin during this time.
I know, same. I kind of wish she was slithered right in there.
You know how I feel about people like doing sex for the good of of like their country or whatever.
Honestly, Erin, that is the only way I would be a good spy. It's literally the only way.
Yeah, if the people were hot. If it was like gross people, you would not want to be a good spy that way. But if it was like sexy fairy times, yes.
This is the only way I would be a good TV spy.
Yeah. So she's sending messages down the mating bond, making sure her sisters are okay, but they're far, they're muffled, and she doesn't want to chance them because it's kind of like putting on that one ring. Like maybe when she's sending those, people are noticing. I don't know,
true.
Something like that. That's why she's doing it. Only sometimes. I'm still team wish the mating bond were severed and they just choose each other after this. I'm still team I hate it when he sends an image down of him like licking her and stuff. I'm like, stop it, guy! You don't know what she's doing right now. No,
what are you talking about? How
I would hate it if somebody just could send me pictures of me doing sex. That's gross, and I don't want anyone. I don't want like. She could be doing anything. She could just be going about her day. She's putting some noodles in the microwave, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't need that.
Oh my gosh. Nope, I would love that.
I know. That's fine.
I would love that.
That's fine.
But listen, she's wearing those spring court dresses, and she's also like putting her magic Daemati feelers out into the world. To see what's going on.
Her old bedroom is all messed up. I don't know if we knew that before the end of the last book. Her bedroom's all like grown over and stuff. It's amazing. Messed up.
So here's what happened. When she left, he got real fucking pissed, and Tamlin's calling card is destruction of property.
Yes. That also injures women.
It's true. Yeah. A destruction of property, and if he can tack on some intimate partner violence, he's gonna do it. Yeah.
It's collateral damage.
True. So apparently he like went into her room and like shattered everything in his anger, and then after that, the magic in there just sort of metastasized, and nobody can clean it out afterwards because it's like that.
It's like stained.
Ugh.
Yeah. So she's in a new room. The first thing that happens is Schmerger, a.k.a. Ianthe.
Ianthe.
Put an E on the end of it. Okay, so Schmerger wants to talk to them, says she's sorry. She says in this conversation that she thought that Feyre might secretly want her sisters to go into the cauldron and to be turned high fae.
Who wouldn't?
And Feyre is like, why in the hell would you possibly think that I would want my sisters to be thrown in that cauldron? And it's like, okay, a little bit of justice for Schmerger right here, because like, duh, right?
Because like, you're gonna live for thousands of years, and like, maybe I don't know why
you would want to be with your sisters forever.
Listen, wait, a hot take. It's not a hot take. I don't know why you would want to be with those particular sisters.
Yes, right, sure.
However.
Yeah. But Feyre would. Feyre does like them, despite the fact
love them
that
for
they're
no reason.
The worst.
Yeah. So, yeah, justice for Schmerger in this case.
Like, just
why,
a little bit. Just like a smidgen right here. A smidgen, a Schmerger
I would have
justice.
preferred for her to ask for consent, but she's not really into that all the way around. So, like, she's just living her Schmerger life.
When would she have been able to say, hey, Feyre, is it cool if I do throw your sisters in this cauldron? 0 chances.
No. I meant, like, to the sisters. Oh. While they were dragging
I do not... Hot take. I do not care if either of those bitches have agency. I do not care. Hot take. Don't care. Hate them.
Cannot wait
to read their books. Hate them. Hate them. All right. So Hybern's coming. They're sending a delegation, and remember, they're their allies now. So she's in the Spring Court. Spring Court is Hybern. Hybern's coming to send a few people to go check out that wall.
That's correct.
So they're gonna survey the wall for weaknesses, because I guess the cauldron is all spent out because it did turn those sisters, which is like, why?
Which is hilarious.
Why turn those sisters? Like, there's no motivation on the part of Hybern to turn those sisters into high fae, except for what the book says is to like get at Feyre, but like, also,
why,
they thought that Feyre might like it. So, like, why, though? And now all their cauldron juice is done?
Yeah, and, like, so not only, like, their cauldron is so tired. The cauldron needs 17 naps. However, more than that, the cauldron has become a little vindictive.
Yeah.
Right after the sisters got tossed into it, then one of the human queens got tossed into it. One of, like, the hot, young ones or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she came out an old crone because that's what she wanted most.
Was just like, I can't fucking do it right now. I just turned these other two. Nesta's like a world destroyer or something. She's got crazy powers. Mm-hmm. So like, maybe they should have put those queens in first, which was like actually the thing that they needed to do.
Yep. That was the promise they made. Hybern doesn't give a fuck though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know why they put those sisters in that bathtub.
Plot. For the plot.
Yeah. Plot.
We needed it for the plot.
Yeah.
Except for it ruined the plot. But here you go. Okay, so Hybern's coming. They're sending Jurian, who is like the guy that was the eyeball for a while. And like he had a lady, and then that lady did go with another Drake. she did run off with Drake, and like she's maybe on an island, but also maybe dead. And he's mad about it, and now he's back from the dead because he wants to get that lady back.
It also makes no sense that Jurian is on Team Hybern, nor that Hybern would want Jurian to be on his team.
None of it makes sense.
He used to be, they fought on opposing sides last time. Jurian was like the human guy who was like doing the human fighting. And that's why he got tossed into Arabella's ring, right?
Yeah, that's why he was the eyeball, because she didn't like him.
Yeah, anyway,
she wanted him to watch.
So Jurian's like in it now. He's
and that was
Hybern.
Another way they totally exasperated that cauldron, was bringing him back, right?
Yeah,
they are not making a lot of good strategy decisions. Okay,
it's okay.
So he's here. He's hanging out. He's handsome. He's human. He's wearing the leather armors.
Oh yeah, Jurian. Yeah.
And we've also got some weird twins. Daglan and Branna.
Branna and Daglan.
They're
a male, probably
female
doing sex on each other.
Twin couple who do like to stay in the same room together and like very much insist on being in the same room together. And then they also think they're Daemades with each other.
Yeah.
It said something like one soul, two bodies. That's rough. So
they're doing some twin-cest in the spring court.
# twin stuff. Twin stuff.
No, but they're super fucking creepy. Think like that Fanning girl in that Twilight movie. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good call on that one. Okay. So she's like immediately throwing barbs back and forth with Jurian, like making fun of him because his lady left him for Drake and like is probably dead, but maybe not. The cauldron doesn't think she's dead. She says to Jurian, "Don't threaten me in my own home." Which makes Tamlin be like, yes, she does think of this as
and
her
she
home.
knows it. She's like, Tamlin's gonna love this because I'm slithering. I'm a high lady spring court spy. I'm spying.
Feyre over
Meanwhile,
the first
Lucian is spinning his mad eye moody eye at her.
Yeah.
He doesn't buy it for a second.
Okay? Yeah. So here, I want to talk about something real quick.
Yeah, please. Tell me everything.
10 or so chapters of this book is mostly Feyre doing stuff and then telling us how hot and clever she was for doing this stuff.
Yeah, and I ate it up.
It's like, I said this thing.
Ate it up.
And that thing was because I was smart, because it's conning this person. And like, sometimes I'm like, good job, Feyre. And sometimes I'm like, you didn't do that shit, Feyre. Like, that was not.
That's revisionist history, Feyre.
Yes, exactly. That's revisionist history, Feyre is the most perfect way to say it. Thank you. So, like, that's most of this, like, first 10 chapters. And it's very, like, I tricked this person, I tricked that person. Let's be real here. The only person...
I probably don't want to.
I know.
All right, come in.
This is a very enjoyable book that I stand for these books. But I have no qualms about, like, they are not sensical. Okay, so the only person that she is fooling throughout this whole thing is Tamlin. Lucian says that he knew that she was, like, later on, when we know all.
Yeah.
Lucian tells her, I fucking knew you were mated to Rhysand and you were a spy and you were a night lady from the moment that you day-courted up in that cauldron.
Listen, she fooled him enough.
No, he's dropping hints this whole time.
No, he's pulling her to his side, and he's giving her comforts. And
I'm not saying he's not into it.
Yeah,
can't you be both things?
Yeah, he's a good friend. All right.
Yeah, he does want to be her friend. Her sister is his mate. I think he agrees with her about a lot of the things that she feels and believes about Tamlin.
Most certainly.
And about the incorrect decision to go with Hybern. I think he's aligned with Feyre, but he does not believe her bullshit for a second. He even teases her about how she's definitely mated to Rhys.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to it. All right.
Other people that she's not fooling. Any of the people from Hybern. The twins.
No, those twins.
Jurian. They're not fooled by her bullshit.
And they later on they do some Daemades sparring in a way that's really sexy, honestly. Like, very sexy.
You want to read this twin book?
No.
Melody.
No, only Feyre was sexy in that equation.
Let's talk about
Erin.
how Melody wants to watch these weird twins have sex.
It up. Okay, no, here's the thing. So you want to say that, like, Feyre
I need a whole
that
list.
she's all...
Alice,
I'm
not
so
fucking
sorry.
fooled.
No, Alice
Hybern,
is not fooled for a minute.
not fooled. No one around here is fooled. No one she comes...
Schmerger's fooled.
She's not fooled that she's a
fooled.
fucking... Schmerger wakes up in the night at one point to this bitch holding a knife on her.
That's way later.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
Before that, though, Schmerger was fooled.
Oh, so
Schmerger
you're telling me
always
Schmerger
underestimates
trusts Feyre.
No, she underestimates Feyre, which is
That's
the same
fine.
thing.
I think Schmerger's got a number on Feyre the whole time.
Then why would she underestimate her? If she thinks that Feyre is a spy the whole time, Erin says.
Yes.
Then, like, why would she underestimate her? She should do the opposite of underestimate her if she thinks she is a spy for the Night King.
I think Schmerger is fucking dumb. I think Schmerger thinks she's making her moves and she's doing, like, everything Schmerger's doing, I think, is to, like, be opposed to Feyre. She's just not great at it.
Yeah, she's super arrogant and wrong.
I don't know if it's underestimating. I think she's overestimating herself.
Oh, that could also be it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Those were all
right.
things that are going to happen in the future. But I'm just
for Melody. Here I go.
Oh my God.
All I have to say is that every time Feyre was like, I did this thing and it was smart and it was hot and it was super sexy, Melody was like, give me a bigger shovel. I need to put it in my gullet. Yes, Feyre. Yes,
and sometimes
Feyre.
I was too. I like that this is a book about a pack of Slytherins that beat the shit out of a pack of Gryffindors. I do love that feeling of this book. And sometimes I did think Feyre was super sexy and good at conning people. It just didn't work on most of them. And also, sometimes she was bragging about shit she did not do.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. This is one of my favorite lines in the whole book where Tamlin says to Jurian, my maid is not your concern. And Jurian says she shouldn't be your concern either because she's fucked half the Illyrian army by now.
Oh! Listen, hot take. Jurian is a stern brunch daddy, and I would read his book hard.
Oh, I'd read Jurian's book all day. Yeah. And I would hope that Jurian would have, like, a little bit of insight as to, like, what the fuck he's doing here.
Jurian is a leather-clad stern brunch daddy that I need in my life and maybe in my body. I don't know!
And if you're wondering what a stern brunch daddy is, ask the Wicked Wallflowers. That's where that comes from.
There's a whole episode with Andy J. Christopher in which they define stern brunch daddy. Stern brunch daddies. You're welcome.
So Jurian asks her if Rhys knows where Miriam is. She says that Rhys says Miriam was dead. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't, I mean, I don't, whatever. But he also says, rumor has it you were fucking Rhys before you ever left Tamlin, which also hot. I love that Jurian just does not give a fuck. Yeah.
I know.
Well,
he's like,
also
I know
not
my
true
worth.
about the Illyrian army, but I liked it.
True. All right.
So they go see the gap in the wall where she originally came through. Lucian, one of these nights where they're like hanging out around the campfire in the tent or whatever, Lucian and her are alone, and he says that she found, again, Lucian knew from the fucking beginning, he found her melted ring. Her ring melted off and he's kind of like baiting her to be like, that was weird how your wedding ring was melted off and I found it. And she's like, they forced it to melt off of me. And Lucian's like, he brings up the talk they had in the woods, again highlighting that this was all Feyre's fault.
It was not Feyre's fault. Don't say that.
It was. Again, the talk in the woods. Which talk in the woods? What are you talking about? Where she told Lucian that she was the High King, Night King robot. Yeah. He brings that up again and was like, I was cool with the Hybern thing.
Right.
Like Tamlin was because I was going to do anything to get you back. So part of this was like Lucian was on board with it. He tells her about the calamari party last year, which was apparently real rough.
It was,
if you guys remember,
is what it was.
Every year they have a calamari party,
right?
Where Tamlin has to go in a cave and have monster sex. With
he's gotta fuck it
a lady.
Up.
But apparently he doesn't have to go into a cave and have monster sex with a lady. He can just have Lucian do it, who's not even a spring court. But like, if you're gonna, so the whole idea is I've got to fuck a monster lady cave person.
No, the whole idea is we gotta fuck some spring court magic back into the earth.
Yeah, we need to, yes. To recharge the spring court magic is the reason we have to do this ritual.
Yeah.
And the High Lord has to do it because of reasons.
Because he's got the magics.
That's what it said in the first book. Because he's the one with the magic that is the beast that has the claws.
Yeah, because remember, Tamlin was so worried that if Feyre was like anywhere within sniffing distance, he was going to get her and bone her down whether or not she gave him consent.
And he nearly did. Do you remember the claws in that wall? Hot.
It was so hot.
That was one
of the only times Tamlin was hot.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, so it doesn't even have to be the High Lord,
and it doesn't proxy.
And it doesn't have to be a spring court resident.
That's the thing that blew my mind. You're going to send a proxy, but it doesn't have to be a spring court person? Like, is there no spring court high fae that you can send down there to do a monster cave sex?
Yeah, and listen, Lucian should be able to get a library card, right? Like, his residency is updated, but he's not an OG spring court person.
No, he's
an autumn court.
An autumn court person. In fact, when they get to the autumn court, she's like, oh, I do see how this is all Lucian up in here.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the deal with that?
What is the deal? Listen, the deal is that Ianthe got to finally put her claws into Lucian because somehow Lucian didn't even get to pick his own bitch.
No, Ianthe was down there in that cave just crossing her arms, being she's probably there like days ahead of time, like Black Friday. She got there at like 9 p.m. the day before and crossed her arms and sat in a chair in that cave and was like, I'm the one that gets fucked.
I'm not moving. That's right. I'm not moving until there is a D in me. Okay?
Yep.
Well, and it's also funny because Schmerger is also not a spring court person. There's no spring court in that cave right now.
No. They didn't. Maybe they didn't actually fuck any magic back.
Listen, here's my thing. I just had an epiphany. Here's what I think happened. There's this Ice Planet book in which there's...
No, don't do this to me. Don't. I barely can keep this shit straight.
Listen. There's an Ice Planet book where they have some fertility issues. And so the healer sits in the tent with them and like holds on to the lady's shoulders so that the dude can fuck her real good
shoulders.
in front of them.
It still got weird. Yep. Uh-huh.
And then she does her healer stuff to like coax the sperm and the eggs together. So here's what I think happened. I think that Tamlin was also in that cave like magicking the ground around them while Ianthe raped Lucian. I think that's what happened.
They said he was nowhere near there. I think he locked himself up or something like that.
I think that's propaganda. And,
yeah, could be.
That's fake news. Okay.
All right. So we have a whole scene with Alice where Alice, the servant who dresses her, is like, P.S., you know who also doesn't believe you is me. Yeah. I have a friend at the summer court who did see you on that pleasure barge.
Pleasure barge!
And she tells Feyre that she's going to go to the summer court, which is where she's from, or at least her family's from. Yeah. And she's going to take her nephews. And she's like, it's pretty clear to me that you're a spy for the Night King.
Right.
Whatever you're doing here, could you please just like not
leave me out of it?
Me and my nephews. Could you like wait until I go or just like not kill us?
Yeah.
And Feyre was very like,
love you, always have. Yeah. Love what you're doing. Love the new look. I love that you like look normal now and you're not depressed and like not eating.
Yes.
Love it. Uh-huh. If you could just allow me to live, then that would be great.
And Feyre's very like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, but she can't even be like, wink, bitch, I'm going to let you live. She can't even do that. She's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, which is great.
I feel like her whole thing was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but like going back to the summer court sounds like such a good idea.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But also, I don't know if it's this conversation or the other one. She's like, hey, though, when you get back to that summer court, just like, don't mention me.
Don't talk about me at
all. Don't say you're my friend, because that's not going to get you very far there.
The summer court sent me some really pretty jewelry.
Yeah. And they mean if I ever set foot back there or anyone I love sets foot back there, that they are going to be murdered. So don't do that.
You're going to be murdered right up. So like, just disavow me. You don't know me.
Sometimes they're sent because of a death threat, and then other times for flirting.
Yes.
But Feyre's is a death threat.
Listen, I think just like the loose rubies are death threats. But Amryn got sent a very, very pretty necklace by Vesuvius or whatever his name is. So,
but also like a death threat flirt is like
a death
pitter
threat
patter.
flirt
That makes
so
my
hot.
heart
I
go
know.
pitter patter. Okay,
I know. Amaranth
okay.
too.
Oh yeah.
So Alice is like, I'm not believing you. I like what you're doing though. So like, you do you, girl.
Yeah. So now, guess what day it is? It is the summer solstice. All right.
Summer solstice.
So Schmerger's got this whole thing, because she's the priestess or whatever, that she wants everybody to get up really early and do a special prayer before they do their summer solstice stuff.
Wait, did we skip the demon tea that happened?
Which one?
With the twincest kids.
I don't know. I think they had like dinner and the twins were doing demon tea stuff and talking to each other in their brains. I don't know where that is, though.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
I may not. I don't know. You can talk about it now. It's our podcast. We can do what we want.
No, I just thought, like I said, it was just a moment where Feyre was fucking sexy.
Yeah, I mean, we figure out these guys have demon tea and they can
and they're
control brains.
Hard. Yeah. And so like they're sending out little brain feelers to Lucian and Tamlin to be like, we're gonna get in you. And Feyre's like setting up big giant walls of adamant in their brains for them, and she's like barbing back at them. Barb. Closing
the shield. She's shielding all their brains all the time. She's using her big brain to help all the other brains. I don't know. That's in here somewhere. I may or may not have taken a note on it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Anyway.
So it's summer solstice
now
time.
It's summer solstice.
So, she has this moment where she says that she almost pities Tamlin because everybody in his life has clearly seen that she was so unhappy there, and she still is so unhappy there, to include Lucian and Alice, and they lied to him about her suffering to save his feelings, and then did nothing to help her. And then I realized it's not only Feyre's fault, it's also Lucian and Alice's fault. Because if they would have gotten a little bit real with Tamlin, this Hybern thing may not have happened. So it's everybody's fault.
They're big enablers, those two. I mean, to the point that Alice, in that exchange that they had, she was like, hey, FYI, you can try to be the spy all you want, and you can tell whatever lies you want, but I am the person that saw you go into full imploding meltdown. I am the one who begged Truthsayer more to get you the fuck out of here. I am the one who wanted you to like be in a better place. So nice try, but you were miserable and you were killing yourself being here. So no. And then Lucian saw the ring melt, and he never told Tamlin anything. In fact, he hid the gemstone so that Tamlin would never find out. Like, there's a lot of enabling going on for his incredibly abusive behavior. And I've also got a hot take about Tamlin's abuse, but I don't know when that's going to be an appropriate time.
All right. Okay. So it's morning time.
It's morning. It's the morning of the solstice.
We're at the special place where Schmerger wants to do her special sunrise prayer.
Right. And Feyre's got some spring flowers in her hair.
Oh, she fucking did it up.
Yeah, and she lets Tamlin, like, bring her down, and she lets her body, like, slide down his, and she does a lingering look up to him. And
a very, like, pious, like eyelashes sort of look.
I'm an innocent little flower, and do you remember when you used to bite me and stuff? Anyway.
That's what Tamlin's into, is, like, fragile, innocent flowers.
Yeah, because he likes getting all up in there with his claws and his beastliness. It's Tamlin likes an opposites attract situation, and I don't hate it.
But he also likes to put her on a pedestal and keep her subservient, which is not okay.
Yes, he likes to put her in a gilded cage, and we hate it.
We hate it.
So anyway, she's like doing a maybe we could kiss someday. Not now though, because I'm still so broken. But like someday we could kiss though. And then she like fucks off and goes and stands next to Lucian. Yeah.
And okay, so Schmerger has planned this thing where like the sun will come up and like the sunbeam is gonna hit her and like illuminate her and like make her the most beautiful, pious high priestess. Yeah. And she's like, got like the gown,
her open arms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the sun comes up, and instead it illuminates Feyre, and everybody's like, gasp! The curse breaker, the blessed, the cauldron blessed Feyre. Ooh. And like she wore the perfect like white, like beautiful iridescent gown to be like lit up by the sun.
And she does something with Lucien. Doesn't something with Lucien happen?
I think this might be where she like backs up into him or something like that. Yeah. I don't remember. She plans all these moments where she like is scared. Well, some of these moments where she is like scared or backs up or is like somehow in Lucien's arms to make Tamlin super jealous. I think maybe one of those happened here. I think maybe she let him take her off the horse?
No. Tamlin took her off the horse. No, I think Lucien like bowed to her or something. And then there was like a handhold maybe. There was a something that happened. Was a something.
I'm sorry. I'm not as good of a note taker as Melody is. I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine.
So everybody's like, oh my gosh, Feyre is actually the most holiest.
She's the chosen one.
Cauldron one. And we find out that Feyre moved all the thingies the night before so that the sun would illuminate her, which is like hot.
The best.
Yeah, good job, Feyre.
So good. Good job, Feyre. So then this sends Schmerger into an absolute meltdown.
Yes.
Because then she's trying to like show everybody that she's still, relevant and necessary because she's trying to keep her place in the Spring Court in order to make sure she has a place in Highburn when they finally like win the war or whatever. And so she's going around to everybody for the rest of the day being like, my best friend Feyre was chosen because I chose her because she's my best friend. It's like a whole thing.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. I wasn't standing there with my arms up like a dummy waiting for the sun that never came. God, it's so great.
It's really good. Hey, HBs. If you haven't yet picked up your copy of The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. It's already out. It's a delightful love story about what happens when two assistants tasked with keeping a rocky relationship from exploding start to feel sparks of their own. Here's the description. Carrie Douglas has worked for home remodeling and design gurus Melissa and Rusty Tripp for nearly a decade. A country girl at heart, Carrie started in their first store at 16 and has helped them build an empire. With a new show and a book about to launch, the Tripps are on the verge of superstardom. There's only one problem. They can't stand each other. James McCann, MIT graduate and engineering genius, was originally hired as a structural engineer, but the job isn't all he thought it'd be. The last straw? Both he and Carrie must go on a book tour with the Tripps to keep the wheels from falling off the proverbial bus. Unfortunately, neither of them is in any position to quit. While road tripping with the Tripps up the West Coast, Carrie and James vow to work together to keep their boss's secrets hidden and their own jobs secure. But if they stop playing along and start playing for keeps, they may have the chance to build something beautiful together. Publishers Weekly says, Lauren delivers a breezy, tongue-in-cheek rom-com as insightful as it is irreverent. Readers will laugh out loud. And a Kirkus-starred review wrote, a toxic workplace nurtures an intoxicating romance, supplying readers with all the drama and wit of the enemies-to-lovers trope. When a book has such great comic timing, it's easy to finish the story in one sitting. I'll include links in the show notes because, let's face it, we need all the rom-com goodness we can get, right? And this is a must-buy.
All right, so then that night...
There's like a big feast. They have like another like knockoff calamari party situation.
Wasn't the summer solstice when she was like tits out at the last one? Or was that like the spring equinox? Was that calamari? No, I think it was the summer solstice.
It was the summer, yeah.
Where she was like tits out drinking the wine and stuff.
Yeah, she drank that wine she wasn't supposed to drink.
So she goes up to Tamlin and she does her very like demure, like looking up at him through her eyelashes thing. And
I'm
it's
so
like,
tired because I'm so holy.
And she's like, will you dance with me? And he's like, fuck yeah, I'll dance with you. And they have a dance.
Yeah.
And then, bing, boom, bong.
Here we go.
Revisionist history with Erin. So that night, the book tells us from Feyre's perspective, she is exhausted from a long day of conning and slithering and dancing with people she doesn't want to dance with.
That's right.
And it's real hot, sticky hot. They don't have air conditioning in Perineum.
Which doesn't make any sense. It's all magic. All of it's magic.
But Baronium's getting hot and sweaty without air conditioning is probably a fair description. What's it actually called?
Appropriate.
Prythian?
Prythian.
Okay. So she puts on this nightgown that's like a see-through lace nightgown. And she says, I'm putting on this nightgown because it's so hot and sticky right now. This used to be a sexy nightgown that Tamlin got for me that I didn't like because it was too frilly and sexy. But right now I'm wearing it because it breathes, because it's very lacy. Then she says she goes to sleep.
This is her slithering at us. How
she
dare
can't
you?
slither at us. We are
yes,
her.
She can.
No,
because she slithered
Melody.
at us earlier. She was like, oh, and then all of a sudden the sun was on me, and little did you know, listener, that I had moved the rock.
But
I
listen,
did that.
Melody. Bing, boom, bong.
She's slithering to us.
Bird click. She goes to sleep, and she has nightmares. She goes to sleep. She closes her eyes.
I don't think she goes to sleep.
She tells us she goes to sleep.
Find it in the text.
I will.
Find it. Do it. Because I don't believe
Kindle
you.
on. Swiping to unlock Kindle. Searching.
No, listen. I thought that she did all this awake times.
No.
She was like, and then I lay down in my bed and I toss and I turn and I do all the nightmare things.
No.
Yes, she does. I'm going to eat my words. I know it. I'm going to eat them, listener. I'm going to eat them and I'm going to love them because Erin is so hot when she gets into the details. But right now, I think she's slithering.
No. Okay. I changed into my nightgown, a small, lacy thing I'd worn for Tamlin's enjoyment, and now was glad to don thanks to the day's sweat still clinging to my skin, and flopped into bed. Mm-hmm. For nearly half an hour, I kicked the sheets, tossing, turning, thrashing. The adder, the weaver, my sisters being thrown into the cauldron.
She's working herself up.
No,
that's what she does.
Actual distress.
No, she's not.
All of them twined and eddied around me.
No, fuck you. Earlier, when she was talking to Ianthe and she needed to get the fear sent out, she said to us, I'm thinking about the adder. I'm thinking about the weaver. I'm thinking about Claire Better. I'm thinking about all the bad things that happened to me so I can generate actual fear pheromones.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not fucking kidding you. She's slithering like a motherfucker.
That is a dream.
She's tossing. No, she said I get into bed and I kick the sheets around. And then I think about the adder. Ooh, and I think about the weaver. Oh, and I think about all the things. All the things that are going to whip me up into a fearful frenzy. Listen, I used to do this to myself before DI rounds.
Jesus.
Yeah, I used to go into the bathroom and I used to think about all the terrible things that had happened, and I'd listen to like a song that I knew was triggering to me, and then I would go into DI rounds and I would hit my climax like nobody's business.
You know what I used to do?
Eventually stopped triggering me.
You know what I used to do?
What did you do?
I used to not blink for the first 6.5 minutes.
Yep.
And then tears would just come out.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I did to get into my headspace for my
that's what
acting.
Feyre is a beautiful performer. She did not go to sleep. So bing, boom, bong. No revisionist history.
Okay,
She's
fine.
the best.
All right. Okay, so then she wakes up and then goes to Lucian's. No,
she gets up, listener. She gets up.
My heart thundered along with my veins, my bones, as I cracked open the door, sweating and haggard. So you're saying she did that
when did she wake up?
So that she would get sweaty and haggard?
Yes. And so that she would actually smell and sound. They could hear her heart beating because all the fairies can hear each other's hearts when they want to.
All right, I'm gonna give it to you. I've reread it. You're right. The word sleep is never said, but I do feel betrayed by Feyre in this narrative. Because I would rather...
She's showing you her method.
I would rather her tell me what she's doing as she's doing it. I liked the reveal with the Schmerger stuff.
Yeah.
But this one wasn't as, like, I don't know.
I will give you this.
I would rather see behind the curtain. Yes.
It's easy to misread.
And it's easy to be confused because you could be like, but you actually had a dream. You can't just make a... Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So she goes into Lucian's room
and she's
sweaty,
And her heart's beating, and she's pumping out those fear pheromones like nobody's business because she's just seeing the adder in her mind's eye.
This was all for nothing because Lucien does not believe her. But then she's like, I had a dream. And he's like, okay. And he's like getting his pants on. Like, and she leans into his sculpted body and is crying, and he puts his arms around her. And then Tamlin comes.
And she hears
just
the
as she knew
pitter-pat.
the exact fucking moment Tamlin would come to her room.
He's trying to get it in, Tamlin.
I know he is, but she had to plan that down to the perfect 30 seconds where Lucien would be giving her a hug. I mean, that's some serious planning.
Good job, Feyre.
Good job, Feyre. You got real lucky with this one. And so Tamlin walks by and is like really upset that Lucien is touching his lady. And she's like, ha ha ha, it was my plan all along. I chose that nightgown. I chose that dreams.
And she chose that room.
I knew because my room was here and I knew that Lucien would answer. And I knew that because I danced with Tamlin that he would come to my room at exactly 10:34 and 2 seconds.
At exactly 3:01 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but she chose that room to be across from Lucien's because her magic metastasized bedroom, remember?
Yeah,
and she chose the room across.
I know.
She has been laying these breadcrumbs for a good 57 pages or more, okay?
I just feel like she gets real lucky sometimes, that's all.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Okay, so then the next chapter opens with, like, some keys went missing. No one noticed. Which made me think that she took those keys. Did that not make you think that she took the keys?
No, because she dropped something with Ianthe.
Sure, but like in that moment, I made a note. Feyre took those keys. And then later when it was Schmerger that took the keys, I was like, but Feyre did take those keys. It was really confusing to me. Okay, so they're all having breakfast with Hybern, with the twins and Jurian. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the book where like Schmerger comes in and is like, can I talk with you, Tamlin, alone about something that is very serious, that is capital H happening in the spring court? And he's like, what is it like serious or whatever? And she's like, it's very serious, capital S, and I do need to talk to you about a thing that is happening in the spring court. And he's like, well, these are our allies, whatever weird religious, priestess thing you need to tell me, let me know. I've
got my sausages in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not letting my eggs get cold for priestess news, okay? And she's like, well, some of the ladies in my priestess thing tell me that the plants are dying around our temples. And then I think it's Jurian is like, well, maybe call the groundskeepers.
The landscapers might be able to help.
And they kind of all make fun of her for saying it was so serious when it was not that serious. So then they're going to go back out on another camping trip.
Yeah, they got to go check out a further thing.
They have to camp so much. There's so much camps times. And Tamlin's not going for whatever reason. And
Tamlin, never goes. Even though we know that he's getting...
Time? Did he? Maybe
no,
he didn't.
because she and Lucien slept in the same tent and everyone was worried about it.
No, that's this one.
Oh. No, it was last one too.
They slept in the same tent both times?
You said that earlier.
Did I?
You said, Lucien, they sleep in the same tent, and Lucien talks about that
I'm
thing
so
they
drunk
did in the woods.
Is the problem. I'm drunk.
Drunk.
I'm not drunk. But sometimes it helps to say that you are when you do make mistakes and you forget things that you said 20 minutes ago.
I don't think this is a mistake. I think this is totally fine.
It's a complicated book. They need to go on another camping trip. Feyre says that she's going to go with Lucien and some sentries and that Tamlin doesn't need to go. This aggravates Tamlin, but he agrees to it. So this
aggravates Tamlin because he wants to do a big, I'm a burly man.
Yeah.
You're a tiny female.
Yeah.
And she looks at him like, do you remember what happened last time you locked me up? And he relents. That's all.
So they go on the camping trip. She snuggles in the tent with Lucien. He confesses more things to her about how bad it was when she was gone. He says that he personally went to the day court to see if they could help break the bond between her and Rhysand. He's a real true good friend, guys.
No, Lucien is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he shouldn't have hung out with those Gryffindors for 200 years, but, he's a good friend.
What house do we believe that Lucien is in?
Listen, he's a Gryffindor. You're right.
There you go. Okay, so they are at the wall. They're at one of the wall cracks, and who comes up?
But
three of those.
Some of these little sacrifices.
Daffy-brained children of those blessed.
That's right.
Guys, the children of the blessed are like a cult. They worship the fairies. They like to go over the wall and get eaten by fairies.
They like to go over the wall and quote-unquote serve the fairies. They think it's blowjobs. They firmly think it's oral sex. Okay? But what they don't know is that it's actually getting eaten. Not
it's
oral
blowjobs
sex.
and murder. It's sometimes blowjobs, but it's also murder.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just getting literally eaten.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a very unpleasant blowjob and then a murder. Is what happens.
The fairies are like big cats. They go for your fleshiest bits first.
Oh god!
AKA
oh no!
Your penis.
Gross. Okay, so they're there. So they're like, we want to serve you. And of course, these twins are just like salivating. Like, we can't wait to eat these idiot ladies
so excited
and boys.
Come over.
So what Feyre does is she strikes their minds with sheer terror of fairies and all the history of all the times fairies have eaten all the humans.
And she has to like shoot her thoughts through this tiny crack in the wall.
Yes.
And then she like spears them right in the brain parts, and it is sexy.
Yeah, okay? It's a spear and not a squish grape, if you're tracking brain metaphors. So, these kids, these children of the blessed, they're not children, they're grown-ups, right? They're grown-ups.
They're like mostly legal.
They're like teens. They're new
like
adults.
19. Yeah.
They run away. They're like, oh shit, we made a bad call about fairies. And they run just as fast as they can.
Right. Oh, and the twins are pissed.
Yeah, twins are pissed.
Feyre looks right at him and she's like, listen, you twincest freaks.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to touch them. You're going to leave them alone. You're going to stay on this side of the wall, and you're not. We're going to have a problem with our allyship.
Yes.
That's a callback from one of the last episodes, okay?
Yes.
I know it's alliance. I know it, listener. I learned things from the last time.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're going to have issues with our alliance if you don't leave them alone.
Oh my gosh. Can I say something right now about something that happened in the Romancing the Stone episode with Cole?
Of course.
I talked about how this woman who had a 2-line bit part in the movie was billed just as Chachita in quotation marks. I know you haven't listened to the episode yet.
Yeah.
But the actress was just Chachita in quotes. Gosh, I hope Chachita is right, and I'm not making a new word. Then I Googled it, and she is like the most legendary actress in Mexican cinema. And we laughed about how her name was only Chachita for like 2 full minutes. And she is like a cornerstone of the golden age of Mexican cinema and television. Oh, no. So we all say things that we wish we could not. Anyway, or we could take back.
That sounds like a Hollywood problem and not an Erin problem.
But I guess she like played a role that was Chachita, and now that's what the whole nation affectionately calls her. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for going to corrections time with me.
So basically, you're apologizing to Mary right now.
Yes, Mary and all of our other Mexican listeners and all of our other friends that know about Chachita. And
Mexican cinema.
And Mexican cinema. I think there's maybe like 3 people who are like, we are fans of the golden age of Mexican cinema that have that crossover in the Venn diagram with Heaving Bosoms. However, I was mortified when I was like, Chachita.
Oh, no.
But also, it's kind of Romancing the Stone's fault because they built her role was hefty woman. That's shitty.
Come on. Oh, see, I thought you meant that Romancing the Stone, her character name was Chachita.
No, her character name was Hefty Woman.
Yeah, that's
And then
fucked.
the actress's name was Chachita, which is what I was laughing about because I just thought it was a funny name. It's like Cher, it's like...
Yeah.
And she had 2 lines, All right, where are we? Okay, so she tells them, do not touch these children of the blessed. And then she has another cheeky conversation with Jurian where she's basically like, okay, you've got this whole new lease on life. You have a whole new chance to do anything you want with this new body, this new life.
Right.
You've been reincarnated, and you're going to waste it on revenge.
Yeah, why are you trying to go after your ex-girlfriend?
Yeah. And he's like, isn't that what you're doing?
Oh,
Hot.
pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew.
And then he tells her a story about what a hero Rhysand was in the last war and did something like broke orders, tried to save his lady Miriam, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we wake up in the morning, guess what those twins did?
Oh, they did a big slaughter.
They did a big slaughter of those children.
The children of the blessed have been sliced and diced.
Yeah,
and they
it's
put
real
this
bad.
whole shield, magic shield around them so that nobody would hear the screaming.
Yeah.
It is bad.
It's not great.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's Concernicus. It's bad.
Yeah.
Feyre is livid.
We don't see what happens after Lucian and Feyre find out about this. The next thing we see...
We do see them hatch a plan, though, where they're like, we're going to get them.
Yeah, we know that they're going to do something to get at these twins. But the next thing we see is we're in Tamlin's office, and Tamlin is like, Lucian, I expected better of you. And she's like...
He's doing a big principle right now.
Yes, yeah.
He's doing a big, scene, put out your wrist and I'm gonna smack it with a ruler.
you know that scene in Top Gun where the commandant or whoever it is yelling at, it's like that. Maverick and Goose are getting yelled at for some shit they pulled. Okay.
And they are just as fine with it. They're just as okay.
Yeah.
I stand by all my choices.
You expect better from Lucian, but you don't expect better from me. And he's like, well, Lucian is, I'm trying to think of a justifiable difference between you and Lucian that I can use here. But basically, I don't remember if Lucian he leaves, right?
No, Tamlin sends him out.
Oh, Tamlin sends him out. Mm-hmm. Then she starts talking back to him in a way. It's like, listen, she's
pushing all his buttons.
You're cool with, she's doing it on purpose, which is hot and sexy.
She's slithering.
She's like, you're cool with allying with Hybern and just them getting rid of the wall and just going over the wall and killing all the humans, which is my family and my friends and my people. And forgive me if I'm not trying to get back a little bit of the honor and dignity that you sold out.
That's right.
And mercy that you sold out when you went with Hybern by trying to save 3, well, not even doing a revenge when these guys killed 3 humans that did not deserve it. So what they did...
Yeah. Tell them what they did.
What they did was they sent that boggart. They got that boggart to go after them. The Boge.
The bogey? The bogey.
I think
it's
of
the
Doge,
bogey.
The dog meme.
It's a bogey.
Yeah. That boggart.
Yeah. They led the bogey to the camp. They fucked off and the bogey attacked the twins.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
So Tamlin gets real mad at her because she's doing a big talk back, and he starts doing his property destruction.
Yeah.
Where he
explodes
the whole office. And I guess she could have protected herself, but she didn't, and she just lets herself get hit by all the stuff.
Last book, she automatically, instinctively put up that wall
shield,
of hard air.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at that point, last book, he did a big grovel and a big, cry into her stomach, even though he was the one that nearly murdered her. And this time, she just didn't bother to put up the wall. Mm-hmm. And so she's covered. She's got splinters,
and she's strong enough
in her
she
face.
Can be in danger and decide, no, I'm not going to put up the wall. Which, last time, I don't think she would have been able to do even if she wanted to. It's just I'm going to let this desk hit me in the face. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so she's got splinters coming out of her face, and she's
all bloody, bruised up. Yeah, but in a hot way. She's still, it's like that thing in a movie where she just has the one cut on her cheek.
Yes,
but it's a real good one.
She's Angelina Jolie in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
After one of their sexy spouse fights. Okay?
Then she's like, "Hey, reader, guess what I did? That on purpose."
Because she also knows that the guards are out there and they know that Tamlin just did a big abuse on her.
Yeah, and she walks out and she's all bloody.
She's hobbling and she's like, oh, woo, I'm all woozies. Am I concussed? ? Ooh. And it's only I'm only making fun of this because she did it on purpose and she's okay.
Yes.
Like, obviously, this is not an okay thing.
Yes. And my hashtag
happened.
Justice for Tamlin is not about
not
the
apply to
domestic
this.
abuse parts. It is only that he allied with Hybern because he legitimately thought she was in danger and had no clues that she was not. Okay. And if Rhysand had done that to get Feyre back and then decided to deal with the consequences later, we would have been like, yay, good job.
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Because Rhysand would never.
Rhysand would make a dark ally in order to protect his friends or get Feyre back. Like, have we all forgotten about the poor Court of Nightmares over there? Like, children are being born in the Court of Nightmares. Women are growing up in the Court of Nightmares. Under Rhysand's rule, and nobody talks about it, so that the little kids in Valaris can fucking laugh in the streets. Is anyone laughing over in the Court of Nightmares? How are those kids doing? No one gives a fuck. But I kind of like that.
But I like it!
But the book doesn't like that. But I don't think Sarah J. Maas is trying to, like, make that a sexy thing.
No, she's trying to put that right under the rug.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So she is obvious in front of the sentries, and then she asks those same sentries to escort her on a ride the next day so they can even further align themselves with him. So she can
ingratiate herself with them.
Yeah, and see her bruises and all that. So the next thing that happens is some of those Nagas get in. Remember those Nagas?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do. They look like venom, like with extra legs.
Yeah, that's what we said they look like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he gets mad because there was a sentry that fell asleep and it was his keys that got taken.
Keys. And the Nagas use those keys.
Yeah.
Which like, how did the Nagas get those keys?
They don't seem to be like smart or sentient.
No. Okay,
so then, all right, this is a, like, Feyre. So this sentry is about to get whipped.
She admits that this fell into her lap.
Yes, I know.
In the book. Okay,
but
I'm fine.
This is a little bit shitty on her part. So, like, the sentry is about to get whipped by Tamlin because he was the one that fell asleep on his shift and stuff. So she enters his brain, Demon T style. And she's like, why don't you tell him all the things you're thinking? So he could maybe just like shut up and avoid some punishment right now, which is what he's trying to do. But Feyre takes over his brain, and makes him say that Schmerger was the one that actually took the keys.
No. Yes. She unlocks his memories.
Yes. And, quote, loosens his tongue. Yes. She makes him say this stuff.
But that's good.
It is, but he
was going to get whipped either way.
He was going to get whipped lashes. Either way. She says 20 lashes, and then by the end he has more lashes.
Oh. Schmerger needed to go down.
That's true. I'm just saying it's a little bit like mind control of Feyre that's like a little bit unfair, I think. And then she steps up and is like, I will hear his story about how Schmerger actually took the keys. And then all the sentries are like, ooh, we like her. Feyre, she's listening to us. She's siding on our side.
That's
and then
right.
Tamlin does side with Schmerger and doesn't believe his sentry.
He's a big dumb dummy.
Yeah. And now none of the sentries like Tamlin anymore.
Yeah. If he is given the right choice and the obviously wrong choice, Tamlin will choose the obviously wrong choice every single time.
Some people just can't help themselves.
I know. So then afterwards, Feyre stays back to nurse the sentry that got super whipped. And she like ends up, I don't know, skipping lunch or something valiant while everybody else. Oh yeah, because Schmerger and the rest of the gang,
they just go have food.
They're just like, and now brunch is served. Like, what?
Yeah. And you know who was probably a pretty stern brunch daddy at that brunch?
Jordan.
Okay, so then the next camping trip they go on, Schmerger's gonna go. And then Feyre sleeps in the tent with Schmerger.
Yeah.
And the whole night is like, man, I would
wish I could murder up that Schmerger.
If I could slit her throat. Also, she like packs extra stuff. It's becoming clearer. She has a conversation with Alice and all this stuff.
Alice gives her a to-go bag.
Yeah. Where like this is the one where Feyre's gonna peace out, clearly.
Yeah, because she's sowed enough doubt. She's created enough havoc.
She's done enough.
She's lit the fuse. So and now she needs to fuck off before it goes boom.
she's thinking about, I'm going to slit this bitch's throat.
Oh, I want to so bad.
She has a knife in her hand because she can't get her shit together. Schmerger wakes up to Feyre, like, holding a knife and is like, look, all my suspicions are confirmed. Look at that. And then Feyre's like, well, there's enemies around. And Ianthe is like, Hybern's not our enemy. And then she just goes back to Snooze Town, which is like, get out of that tent, Schmerger.
Feyre's like, we've got so many enemies, and that's why I have this knife out. Wink. And Ianthe's like, cute wink, bro. And then goes to bed.
Z's. Going back to Z-Town.
It's true.
All right. So then the next day, Feyre is sitting on a rock, peeling an apple.
Yeah, and she's like super stoked about this apple. And those twincest kiddos are over at the wall, and they're like checking it out, and they're murmuring to each other. And she decides to get a little mouthy. I like a mouthy Feyre.
Have a moment. Can I have a moment?
Yeah, about apples? Is it about apples?
It is.
Yeah. Please.
Bing, bong, bong. Peeling apples.
Everything about apples.
Why does this happen?
Yeah, why do people do that?
Why do people in fantasy books peel apples with a little paring knife? What is the point? Why in Sleepless in Seattle do we have to hear about how your wife could peel an apple in one curvy thing? Who's an apple peeler? No
Why
one.
Are we peeling apples?
I don't.
Now, I understand sitting there and, like, cutting off polite bites instead of going, right?
No, I don't understand that either.
Well, I don't. Listen.
You give me a backstory about how bombs are in apples, Firefly style, or you just chomp your apples. Period.
Oh.
The end.
Erin, I love it when you bring Firefly into the conversations.
That's it. Like, I need a reason why you've got a little paring knife and you're just, like, taking off little dainty apple slices. Or you got to just eat that apple. Because peeling an apple? What, the peel's just like on that rock, just sitting there with an edible peel? I don't get it. And then she's just touching the wet apple?
I've still got chills about how you brought a Firefly reference into our... I mean,
do you need to take a moment?
I might. Like, I might need to do a quick break. Just like,
think about it.
Go somewhere.
Are you going to be in your bunk for a little bit? All right. Let's see.
Yeah, so she's peeling apples. I have never done this in my life. Peels are delicious.
It's a great way to get cut, too.
Also that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peeling an apple with a paring knife. On a camping trip, you need those nutrients, Feyre.
You need all of them.
Oh, God. And now your hands are sticky. Congrats. Your hands are sticky, and you've got a mouthful of Faebane.
Are you going to lick your hands? Who knows?
What are you going to lick your hands?
What are you going to do?
Don't lick your hands.
You're going to have dirt stick on your hands all day.
Yeah, and you're on a rock, so you're like, you had to use your hands to get on that rock anyway, so you have dirty hands.
Yeah, and also, like, you can only lick your hands in the before times.
Yeah.
Don't lick your hands now.
Don't lick your hands now.
Nobody's allowed to lick their hands.
No more hand
ever
licking.
again.
Ever again. And that's a good thing. That's one of the very few good things that have come out of this global pandemic is those hand lickers are done. Heaving Bosoms stands against hand lickers.
It's true.
And apple peelers. All right.
Okay.
So, she has this conversation with the twins where she finds out exactly how huge that army is. And it's like 3 times as big as she thought is the Hybern army. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, shit. If they're that big, then we're definitely all going to get murderlated by Hybern.
I feel like it's like 200,000 or something insane.
It's crazy. Just think of the craziest army number you can for fairy land. Yeah. Just orcs as far as you can see. And that's the evil army. Okay. So Dagon, who's one of the creepy twins, says, listen, this is how the cauldron is going to take down the wall. Your mortal mind probably can't grasp the magic that the cauldron is going to do.
Yeah, he's doing a big condescend.
And she says out loud, well, this mortal mind solved that riddle that Schmerger had. I can only imagine the hilarious jokes flying between those twins when Feyre said that. Well, this mortal mind knew the answer to that riddle. Mm-hmm. And she's like so impressed with herself. And then like those twins are just like, they're thousands of years old. They're like, this bitch. This is one of the stupidest people. Love! Yeah. Yeah, it's love, Feyre. Don't kill your boyfriend. It's love.
Do another dance, Feyre.
I just love that she brags about that. Like, oh my God, it's so good. Okay, so then she's going to run. She's ready to go. She implants the brains of the sentries with images of her gruesome death at the hands of the twins. And then, like, Schmerger and Tamlin not doing anything about it so that she can just do one last seed of dissent in the spring court. Now she's sneaking off. She's got her pack. She's got all her food and everything. And then she hears Schmerger like assaulting Lucian.
Yeah, she's doing a sexual assault.
And she's like, I should just go. And yes, Feyre, you should have just gone.
Yeah,
like,
Feyre,
Lucian can handle this situation.
He can't, though. He's such a sweet bear.
Yeah, Lucian but like, he already did take one for the team with this lady. Maybe just keep walking, Feyre.
Oh, I don't know. I think he paid his dues.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing that this was about. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if you're weighing on the scales of what, you know, like, I think Lucian could have handled this situation. I feel like Lucian could have got out of the situation, and Feyre getting out is going to be the thing that saves them all. So maybe she should concentrate on that.
Yeah, especially since Lucian has told her that he's gotten out of that situation
many
every
times.
Single time before and after the spring magic infusion.
And at the calamari party, although it was kind of coercive because Tamlin wouldn't do it, Lucian did willingly go into that cave.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's used to taking one for the team on this situation.
Poor guy.
I know.
Ugh.
So, okay.
But thank goodness she didn't.
Thank goodness.
So she goes over.
She saves him. She does
more than
the
save
best
him.
thing.
Oh my God. So hot.
She takes Schmerger. She takes her grape mind and she says, I've got your grape mind in my hand. And what I would like you to do is pick up that rock with one hand and put your other hand on the boulder and then smash your hand with that rock until I say stop.
And keep smashing. And the whole time Ianthe's smashing it, she's like, you're going to have no memory of this. You are never, ever going to touch another person without their consent ever again. Mm-hmm. You're never going to like think that's a sexy thing to do ever again. Mm-hmm. Like you're not going to be an assaulter anymore. No. Keep smashing, darling. Mm-hmm. And her hand is just becoming this pulpy mess.
Yeah. It's just like bones are just hanging off of this hand. It's rough. So and then she's like, and if anyone asks you how you hurt your hand, you have to say, I fell.
And doesn't she also say like you can't go see the healer, or like you can see the healer but you have to leave the scars so that you always remember?
Yes, something like that. Something you can't. I don't know. You can't get use of your hand back, basically. Like, that's not something you can... I don't know. It was something like that. Don't magic it up.
I think it was leave the scars so that you always remember to never touch anybody else again.
Yeah.
But then, Dagon and Brother Get In Me show up. And they...
Get In Me.
It's a bee name. I don't know what her name is.
Branna.
It's Brother Get In Me. Yeah. So...
Yep.
They show up, and they're like, Oh, hey, Feyre.
No, wait.
Oh, no,
Before they show up,
wait.
I'm so sorry. I got lost in my notes.
Please.
Okay, when they're done with Schmerger, Lucian's just like jaw dropped. Like, Lucian knew that she was Night Court Lady Spy. Mm-hmm. And he knew that she was Power Times.
But he did not know it was like this.
And so she gets to turn to him and like flip her hair and then be like, the word you're looking for, Lucian, is demon tea. Hot. Good work.
Pew, pew.
Good
Shots
work.
Fired.
Good work. Anyway, sorry. So then the creepy twins, they show up.
That's the one.
And they're like, hey, haven't you noticed how like you may not be able to send messages down your mating bond so good? And
Doesn't
then,
your head kind of hurt?
Also, like, your magic is kind of bad. Have you noticed that we put Feybane in your food? That special tasty apple
of your
was full of Feybanes.
And Feybane is this herby chemical.
It's fairy kryptonite.
Hybern. Yeah. And
it's basically the only thing that can beat them.
So also, Bing Boong Bong.
Yes.
Why is the Spring Court importing food from Hybern?
I don't understand. I thought that maybe Hybern, like, they brought their own food and like put the food in the Spring Court food.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, this apple it's not like injected with Faebane. It has been grown in an orchard that is watered with Faebane laced water. Like, it is serious business.
Like, they have been gardening for this for months.
Oh my God. Years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, you're going to start feeling a little woozy soon. You're going to not be able to use any of your powers. And like, what do you think, Dagon? Like 10 minutes? And he's like, yeah, brother, get in me. It's going to be about 10 minutes. And so, yeah, so then they have to do a big fight.
Yeah,
they do a big
so she
fight.
uses that 10 minutes to do a big winnow fight. And can they not winnow? Or like, she has something up on them. I think it's that maybe they don't know she can winnow, so she gets to surprise them.
No, they know they can't winnow because they have to carry them. Remember when they go camping?
Right. Okay, so that's it.
They have to carry
At the
each
very
other. So
least,
she's like,
they don't
winnow,
know.
slash.
Yeah, and
winnow,
they don't know she can,
punch,
I don't think.
Winnow, sweep them on the feet.
Yeah.
Winnow, crazy karate kick. Winnow, slash, winnow, stab.
Yes.
That's how the fight goes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting some punches in too. But finally, she goes, winnow, cut his head off.
Yes.
And then winnow another thing.
Yeah.
And they're dead.
And they do die. And then she wipes her blades on the back of the boy one. And then she starts going on, and Lucian's like, I'm coming with you to the night court because that's where my mate is. And she's like, I don't really want you to come. But then she thinks about how good of a friend Lucian has been. And then she's like, okay. And he's also like, you're not going to make it without magic.
Yeah.
Which is true.
He has no magics.
You're not magic anymore.
And like,
so
how are you going to get there?
They start heading out.
Fuck off.
They either got to walk through the spring court or they got to walk through the autumn court. Or, I'm sorry, the summer court or the autumn court. Where if they go through the autumn court, Lucian is not on great terms with his family.
Lucian's not welcome there
where he's
at
from.
all.
And if they go through the
summer court is the long way around, and there are those deadly jewelries that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, Feyre is not super welcome there, so they just go the shortest way. And Lucian also knows his way around the autumn court, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucian turns to Feyre and is like, you were right. The girl I met in the spring court did die under the mountain. And she's like, it wasn't a compliment. You know, because she's like all Slytherined up now. And then they're gonna do their road trip. Then they had
to do a road trip.
They do a Lucian Feyre road trip through the autumn court and the winter court to get back up to that night court.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
It's very dangerous. It's also like I don't know. It's like competence porn a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
It's also very cold. It's also something we're going to go through real fast in the next episode. Zoom, zip. So we can get to Valor and we can get to that bone-in.
We can get to that sex. Yeah. Next episode, we're going to like basically do 10 minutes and then straight to sex.
Well, it's great. So this book is divided into 3 parts. So we're going to do 3 episodes. This was part 1, Princess of Carrion. Part 2 is something else. Cursebreaker. And then part 3 is a third part. Part 2 is like 350 pages. So we're going to go zoom, zoop, zip.
Yes.
Which is what we do when we go fast. That's the word I just made. Zoom, zoom, zip.
Yeah. Zoom, zoom, zip. I like it. You know what I like even more, Erin? You're a lady loves. Tell me everything.
Why don't you tell us about the thing that Valor did?
Okay. So Valor is so different from Ember, and one of the ways that is true is that she has learned very early on about like how to go all nonviolent protester when she doesn't want anything.
Oh,
it's like when she doesn't want to do
I
something.
hate trying to fit a child into something when they're limp, or sometimes they do the stiff thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, it's the worst.
It is. So there was a time when I was like trying to fight her into her pajamas every night.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would just like roll around and she would like whine and bleh, and I don't want to. So finally I was just like, fuck it. I don't care. As long as your diaper is on, you can do whatever you want to do. So I just let her go and I was like, do your thing. And she started doing every night now. It's the ritual. She started doing the cutest thing. She stood there on the back of the couch, naked except for her diaper, and she made eye contact with me, and she started rubbing her tiny little hands over her tiny baby torso, and she started going, whoa. Touching up on her tiny body, being like, whoa, it feels so nice.
Weird.
It's so cute. And so now, if we say, like, do you want to have naked time? She'll start, like, taking off her shirt and then going, whoa. And
this is your advice to the adults that listen to this podcast.
No, shut your mouth.
All right, okay.
The other thing that she does is I'll just say, like, do you want to have some whoa time? And then she starts doing it too. So my lady love, it's like, it's so pure, you know, because, like, she's just got this tiny corporeal form and it does cool stuff for her, and it feels nice, and it's, you know, like, it's just her just, like, celebrating her physical self, and I love it so much, and I feel like that's who we all are before the patriarchy gets to us, you know? So my lady love is channel some Valor. I don't care where you do it or what.
Have some woe time.
Like, have some woe time, you know? Just, like, celebrate this body that does everything for you, you know? Like, no matter your level of ability, no matter what, like, your body is a precious thing, and I feel like we spend way too much time criticizing ourselves and, like, thinking about things that could be different about us, and not enough time just being like, whoa, this feels so good. I'm awesome. Like, yeah, rub your hands all over yourself if you need to. You know, you do you. Just have some woe time and celebrate your beautiful, wonderful body.
Similarly. Why did I let you go first? Because I hadn't thought of one yet. That's the answer.
That's why
we have in Anchorage a small ice cream shop that makes its own flavors. And they've been doing a quarantine pickup system where you, like, order online and then they leave your pints of ice cream on a bench for you and you go get them.
That's cool.
A very, like, moose and bear controlled. We've got eyes on the bench. It's not not an abandonment. And don't worry. Okay. So we went and got 3 flavors last night for the 3 members of our family. And I thought I got the best flavor, which was, like, ultimate cookie dough, which had cookie dough, also cookies, like cookies and the dough, and also mini M&Ms, and also pretzels in it, which I was like, wow, that's the best flavor, right?
That is the ultimate. Yeah.
Well, the child member of our family got Lucky Charms flavored.
Oh, shit.
Which is Lucky Charms flavored. And it was so much better than my choice, which was upsetting to me, but I didn't want to take his ice cream because, like, that can cause a whole thing. You can't switch flavors. You can't be like, I chose wrong, I'm taking yours. But he did sneak a bite of it, and it was better. But so I don't know what the base flavor of this is. I mean, you're never going to be able to recreate the magic that they did. However, I think that if you just mixed Lucky Charms in your ice cream, you could get pretty close.
Okay.
So, I'm just putting that out to the world. Take a bowl of vanilla or whatever you want to do, but I think vanilla is probably the best base here.
Sure.
And just throw a handful of those Lucky Charms on top and just see what happens.
And then have some woe time.
Yeah, or maybe, you know what, any kind of cereal. Because I think it would have been good with, like, an Applejack.
Or like a Cocoa Puff.
Or a Cocoa Puffs. Or like a Fruit Loops. Ooh. But really, what I like a hard marshmallow. I love a very hard marshmallow. I'm a cereal with no milk person. And I will open a bag of, like, regular marshmallows and let them go hard. I love, like, a big hard marshmallow.
A nice
crunchy
stale marshmallow.
Stale marshmallow. That's my bag. So the ice cream doesn't really soften them, which is nice.
Oh,
Keeps that marshmallow
nice.
crunchy. Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
I'm into it. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, keeping a badass.
What did we laugh so hard about? What?
No, you guys, you can find us places.
Oh.
Here they are. You can find us at Heaving Bosoms on Instagram, at Heaving_Bosoms on Twitters. You can find us on Facebook. The page is Heaving Bosoms Podcast. And then our group is the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. We have merch on Redbubble. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast. And
yeah,
that's where we are.
That's all the places.
All right. So keeping a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love entering another person's brain that you don't like very much, and then like making them take a rock in their one hand and then like putting their other hand on a rock and then smash that hand until the hand is unusable, and then make them not be able to go to a doctor and then have to tell everybody that they fell for the rest of eternity. Love yourself as much as that would be satisfying for you to do. Make that your meditation today. When you're sitting down to do your meditation, do that one before you do your loving kindness. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. All right.
I love you so much. It's so nice to talk to you.
Me too. I'm so glad to do a regular episode. It's so nice to see you and do this and talk about a book. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.